Ciao. I'm a Trabolmeicher, always have been. Story so far Italia is the bomb. We started in Europe, and I really love Europe. It's been a lot of, we hit a lot of new markets, like places we hadn't been before, and seen a lot of things we hadn't seen before, but the shows in some of these new markets have been pretty remarkable. I mean, I don't know how to like put words to it because we're so far away from home, and there's people coming out, and it's like they come from such a different culture, but it's like, you know, they're singing along to the same like music as if they were, you know, back home with us, and I don't know, to have that overseas is pretty astounding to us, I guess. Well, probably a little bit of chaos. It seems like every night there's a lot of, you know, a lot of people kind of getting rowdy. So maybe watch your head, and you know, if you're in the crowd, maybe watch out for some flying bodies. But otherwise, you know, we just try to bring the same show every night. You know, we've been trying to stay healthy. It's kind of hard, but we've been, you know, trying to give our all every night. Yeah, we took time off to do it. Like, we knew we were touring a lot, and we turned down a summer tour to be able to just sit down and write the record, because it's very hard when you're traveling as much as we are to like put the investment in to write the music. So we took time off. Wrote the album at home at the Panda Studios, where we also recorded it. So we wrote a lot of the record there, and a lot of it in our practice space at Ryan's home. But I mean, the difference was really that all five of us were together for the process. Before, it was like we were sending ideas back and forth because we weren't all available to be together. So that, and we had a producer on the project, which was a different experience. You know, we had a little bit more like of a budget and a little bit more like of an idea of how things go for the second time around than the first. So I don't remember if it took more time or less time, but we definitely wrote the music quicker, I think, than on the song. I mean, a lot. I mean, I was in school to begin with, and I had to leave school. I had to postpone that to be able to do this, first of all, because there's literally no time for it. I mean, there's so many commitments and things that we can't do or, you know, be a part of because of what we do. We're not home for long enough, you know, for it to make sense for us to have our own place, or for us to like, you know, like pay rent or be involved with jobs or things. So it's interesting because, I mean, most of our life is just on the road traveling. So I mean, you have to think, like, even when we're in Europe, like, I can't just call home really, like, necessarily. So I mean, the communications are kind of broken and all that stuff. So I mean, a lot of the time we're just spending amongst ourselves. But you know, when we can, you can just try your best to, you know, keep your relationships at home like healthy. But you know, it's difficult sometimes. I think it was very circumstantial. Like, we all, I think, believed in what we were doing, but we all also, you know, had to kind of see reality for what it was, and know that, like, I don't know, like, in the structure of our society, school's important, and if you want to do certain things in your life, you know, it's almost like a prerequisite. So he wasn't the only one, you know, I was in school as well. I was a little bit closer, but Ryan was going to be leaving as well, and for the same area. So I think we kind of looked at everything and like knew we were going to do our first tour and like release the album and everything, and we didn't know necessarily what was going to come. I don't think we were going to like disband or call it quits or anything, but it was like, I don't think we were planned on touring full time because, you know, everyone was kind of involved in their engagements, and, you know, like we did, you know, they seemed pretty set on those things, like including myself included, you know. So, but once we did our first tour and we saw things where, I think we all kind of had the idea of, you know, like, we need to like put things aside and do this. It just took a little bit of time for us to be able to. So. We were young when we started our band, and I think we had a lot of influence when we were younger. From, you know, it was different though, because I think like, I don't know if it's the same when kids listen to a band like Blink-182 now, or a band like Green Day now. Like, we were like, you know, at the prime of discovery when like those bands were releasing some of their first records, you know. So like, I remember being very young and hearing those songs and having a very different meaning because they didn't fit any sort of like scene or culture. I mean, that came later, but like now it seems like there's a lot built around those bands. Like they're almost like they're almost like praised, you know, for what they did. But like to us, they're just bands that wrote great songs, and I think that's at the heart of what we do. Is like, we just want to be a band that writes good songs. We don't care about anything else. We don't care about how we look. We don't care about, you know, like the aesthetic. We just want to write good songs and put on a good show and have people relate to that and lose their heads, you know, because that's what we've sort of generated for ourselves. I guess I listened to pop punk, but like not like it exists now, you know. And I think that's the case with everyone. Like, you're not always listening. Like, we started our band, and it was music that we wrote well together, but it wasn't like all the bands that emerged after that weren't bands that, you know, were impacting us as we were developing our taste in music. So I listened to a lot of like rock and roll, but I also listened to like hip hop and other things, just because of like all the different friends and influences of people who introduced me to these artists, you know. So I don't really like. I mean, generally we don't. It's not for any like, you know, it's nothing to do with the music. It's just to do with our personal tastes. Yeah, like, I suppose, like, some nights there's things you can't do, like, you can't help. Like, sometimes the sound isn't all that good, or like there's equipment failures or people break strings and things. Sometimes we're just tired or we're sick, you know. Like, it's been the case. Like, I know it's hard for Parker because he has to sing every night. And when he gets sick, you know, he'll lose his voice sometimes, and like, it really means something to him to be able to put on a good performance. So if like he's too sick to do so, like, I know that like kind of, you know, that'll bother anyone, you know. So, you know, because no one wants to get up and like have their voice gone. But like, I think he manages it pretty well. And I think when he does lose his voice, like, he still sounds, you know, pretty good. So. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things you have to move on from. You have to come back to that same city and hopefully like deliver something, you know, in your better health or whatnot. I mean, Six Year Guns are good friends of ours, and we were both going to be doing Warped Tour together, so we figured it'd be like, we had definitely a merge of fans. Like, our fan base probably is more close than most people realize. Yeah. So we thought that would be a good idea, just based on those two facts. And I don't know, like, we had just released a record, so we thought, like, you know, we didn't necessarily want to just like come out and put out something that sounded like a B-side to our record. We wanted to do something like sort of experimental, because you can do that on splits, and because you know, it was sonically going to be something different than what we had just released, so it would stand independent of that. So yeah. I get asked this question so much and I never know. I probably want to tour with like maybe like Death Will Above 1979, because I definitely want to like sit down with FDR and talk to him about his bass tone, because he like built it himself and it sounds pretty amazing. I know the other guys would probably want to go out with Witch and Black Breath, so I suppose we'd have to transform our sound a little bit to fit that tour, but that would be fun to watch them every night. Yeah, so like one day I don't go on Tumblr like very much at all. Sometimes I'll go through like, I don't know, just to, sometimes people post nice photos or like things like that. But someone sent me a link to this like, someone had wrote it up. It's like, I didn't know what fan fiction was. Like, this is all a learning experience. And so like I read it and it was weird, and it was about like, I don't know, like you know what it is. If you know what fan fiction is, you know it's kind of like off the wall and weird. and so I thought it'd be funny to write my own. And so it's pretty much me escaping the evils of fan fiction. And it started out with me being held captive in a basement by some nameless. You just put yourself in that role. That's the whole point of fan fiction. So, you know, some nameless individual. They go to the grocery store, and the Justice League comes and intervenes with my captivity, and they free me, and they beat the snot out of my captor. And it's pretty much an anti-fan fiction message within a fan fiction script. So. Probably this like late 70s, early 80s, because I was like, there was a lot of great bands out then, and I guess the idea when rock and roll was emerging to just play really loud and then people would go crazy, and it was just before everything got to like glam rock. So something around then where like I could go see a band like Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin and not have too many bell bottoms or too much like stage makeup. We'll probably go. We're gonna do the U.S. with Caesar Guns, Rotting Out, Such Gold, and we have 2 opening bands, Hearts of Heart and Souvenirs. And then we're gonna go after that. We're gonna go to Australia like early next year, and then we'll probably do some more stuff around that. But we haven't announced yet.
Touring.
More touring, and then we're gonna be trying to write in between tours. So. I mean, when you think about eggs, like it's kind of a weird thing, you know. Like it's like chicken feeders, but they're such a versatile food. Where like you can scramble like such a quick and easy breakfast. Like anyone can cook eggs. That's the one food that like anyone can cook. So when I was in college, like I always cook them for like, breakfast, or whatever. Even sometimes for dinner, you know, you make like whatever it's called, the egg in a basket, where like you cut the hole in the bread. Like you can get really fun with them. You can scramble them. You can make like egg salad sandwiches. You can do like poached eggs. You can do like hard-boiled eggs. You can do so many things with eggs. Eggs are so dope. Eggs rule, man.